I want a equal playing field, but equality is not actually
Okay.
equal.
Okay, Patrick.
Equality does not
Patrick.
equal
Okay,
actual
Patrick.
equality.
Listen, Patrick. You're a Trump supporter. Okay, so
I
you're
am a
smart
Trump
about a lot of
supporter.
things.
I am a
But
Trump
here,
supporter.
but we are actually. I would say that you, if anything, you have the advantage. Okay, I think he just glitched out or something. But anyway,
Yeah, he glitched
if
out.
anything, you
Someone
have
said his
the.
phone died. So
Oh,
that's the problem.
oh, Maddie is just going
Literally
for it. So she
anyone
would
can come
know.
up here and I'm going to just take y'all down because
Okay,
now
okay,
y'all are
Maddie.
using.
As soon as he comes back up. But anyway, but Patrick, if anything, you have the advantage because, for example, on Instagram, you could say, "Oh, I'm a black Trump supporter," and people are gonna give you like silver spoons. People are gonna like treat you like you're the best person ever just because you're black. Okay, and what are you doing that face for, Patrick? Patrick,
I don't need you to. So I think you're missing the point there. Again,
what is the point? If anything,
black
Patrick, we have
people,
you brought up Jim Crow.
blacks
If anything, we have
still
went
aren't
from Jim Crow
equal
to being, if anything, the opposite. Okay.
to whites. And the Hispanics are not equal to the blacks, and the whites are not equal to the Asians. Am I right? Or am I wrong? Because I'm
In
clear. I
America?
know I'm right. I know I'm right.
Uh,
There is no equality, and it's an argument that that we use as conservatives in our systemic racism debate to prove that systemic racism, if it does exist, it is not towards one specific group. And we say, look at Asians; they are prospering a lot more. Jay McKenna, this is a topic strictly about race. That's what we're talking about.
but
This is. Can we, Jay McKenna, if you'd like to come on,
Patrick, okay,
then you
isn't it
can. But
true?
other than that,
But
hush.
Patrick, isn't it true that Asians do better? Because isn't there like an Asian culture where that is their culture, where they take school way more seriously than other people do? That's
That
not
and Asians got reparations
okay. But
from the
Patrick,
concentration camps that they were put in during World War II.
okay, that's like different cultures. Okay, that's not
No. But did
America's
they not get
fault.
reparations?
Okay,
So no. Look, there's no. So now we can say, okay, Asians have been here. There was no point in time where an Asian had to say, well,
okay.
my family had no source of
Oh,
my
okay.
down the family line. There was no source of income for the Asian race.
Serious.
Why? Because after the concentration camps, they were given something to bring them back up to where they needed to be.
Sorry, my fault.
Okay,
That
he's
is
back.
equity. America has done it before. Why can't we do it again?
Apparently, I missed something.
So again, Asians got the Japanese got reparations, right? Japanese got reparations after World War II.
Oh, well, that would make sense. That would make sense for the camps they were put in by Democrats. Yeah.
Right, there it is. So there it is right there. So why can't blacks get reparations for the slavery that they were put in by the Democrats?
Well, a long list of reasons. First off, the first reason is, well, it was a much longer time ago. The second reason is, well, people were not enlightened. People were not, they weren't as enlightened as they were back then, right? So it would have had to happen right away. It didn't. That's unfortunate. Could have. I'm not going to say should have, but it could have happened back then.
No, it should have happened.
It never should have happened.
Black people should have gotten reparations.
Okay, if you're talking about reparations, if you're talking about government assistance right after slavery, I'm talking directly.
Right, we're talking about back then.
So if you were just freed, you should have been able to go to some center and get some government assistance to get on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
But now there is not a single Black American in this country who is not on their feet.
So right after slavery,
the only Black Americans who aren't on their feet are those who choose not.
After slavery, what happened?
A lot of things. Where are you going with this?
Right after slavery, what happened to the Black community?
Well, immediately, they were kind of, in a way, thrown to the wolves.
For how long?
Many of them.
For how long?
Not too long. You see, during when FDR was running for president, this is the way that he got the black vote. He said his campaign slogan, one of his many campaign slogans, was "a chicken in every pot." He went door to door in inner cities, to collect the black vote to bring them back to Democrats.
The civil rights movement, because now you're cutting corners. The civil rights movement ended in 1968, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So, how many people in 1968 are still alive today? A good number of them, right?
A good number.
Good number, right? So, these people during the civil rights movement were not given the correct education. These people during the civil rights movement, the only thing that they knew is, I'm going to say something and it's going to offend some people. I really don't care. They were given the white man's religion, right? They were given the white man's religion. In the 1970s, the 1980s, the white man's religion turned into the black man's religion. Follow me here. Follow me. Because
okay, now I don't know what you're talking about. I can't
watch
follow
this.
Because I'm completely off track.
Watch this. So in the 1960s, the only thing the Negro could hold on to was everything that the Negro had been taught by the white man from slavery. That's all. Because they still could not read. They still cannot write. They still cannot get good paying jobs. They could not build a good source of income to begin generational wealth. Now, with that, we now move on from those who were born 1950s, 1960s. They started having kids in the 70s and the 80s. The 70s and the 80s is when drugs were pushed in from the American government into communities. So now, not only is there no generational wealth, but now there's the introduction of drugs into these low-income places. Race has now gone out the window. So now, in the 70s and the 80s, what was some of the most popular things?
Music.
Movies.
Okay, what was that music about? Because I can pull up the music, and we've seen it.
Okay. You're dragging this out. What's your point?
Right. So in the 70s and 80s, everything was about partying and drugs and all this, and they were popping out babies. These babies were raised by the people in the 1950s and the 60s, aka the grandmas and the grandpas, who still did not know how to read, nor did they know how to write, which is my grandma, which my great-grandma, which then my grandma. Now my mother is being raised by my great-grandma, not saying that this is me, just as a saying, and now she has to raise me. So the problem is, it has affected generations because a generation was taught by a generation who was not taught, which was taught by a generation which was not taught. So it was never a curse that was broken unless you can find someone who went out on their own to read and not follow the populist mod. But as a country, we have to not recognize the small percent, but we have to look at it from the majority. Majority of these people still did not know how to read, do not know how to write, and we are seeing that